You've scheduled an intro call. Excellent. Now what? Have you ever struggled with that first conversation with a prospect, your prospective client? In this video, I'm going to walk you through what to say, how to say it, what not to say, so that you can get their attention, qualify them, and get them to the next step in the process so they can become your client. Check it out. So today, I'm going to talk about the intro call. How many people have been on an intro call before and it's a little awkward? Why? Because you don't know them, they don't know you, you got the call scheduled, congratulations, now what? That's what we're going to talk about today. Today's about turning an intro call into a client. Giving you some background, I've gone from the worst in sales in the world. I was 119 out of 119 sales reps when I first started my first sales job back when I was 24. My boss became my mentor and he said, Chaz, you can be the top sales rep in the company, but you have to follow the system in the process. And I got that drilled into my mind early on, is having a system in process. In sales, in marketing, having marketing and sales work together in alignment, it's important that you have a proven process or you will waste a lot of time. And so today I'm going to talk about the process and system I use for the intro calls. Let me tell you about a lot of intro calls and how they go typically. You get into the intro call, you try to break the ice. Maybe you've heard something about rapport and maybe you try to do that. And then there's that segue that's kind of awkward. You start talking and then it's like, oh man, okay, so how can I get them to buy something from me? What do I say? What do I do? The four things that are going on in each conversation. You have your agenda. You have your prospect's agenda. You have the duration for the meeting, and then you have the meeting ends. And the most important thing in the conversation is you, and whether you are the authority guiding and directing the conversation, or you allow them to control the conversation. So I'm raising my right hand above my left hand. You are the authority. It's your job to guide and direct the conversation as the authority. Your attitude going into the conversation is the key. Go in with the mindset as the authority and enter the conversation with the intention to serve. Intention to serve means you're going to do your research, have a good understanding of them, their background, their goals, their family, this background. It's essential to know that, and if you're going to serve, you need to know their background. You have to be the authority, you have to be in control, you have to have the intention, and that's why if I'm talking to Julie here and say, Julie, great to connect. Before we get started, curious, I see blank. This is the common area that we both can relate to, all right? This helps you bond, this helps starting to build rapport. Rapport never stops, by the way. It's not like, hey, I'm gonna build rapport in this one step. And that's it. Rapport continues. You have to continue and continue and continue to build rapport. Rapport also is match and mirror. You match and mirror their speech. So if I'm talking to someone who's an introvert and very slow with how they talk, I can't just say, okay, Peter, hey man, let's go. I have to slow down. All right? And if you slow down your cadence with how they talk, you know what's going to happen subconsciously? They're going to say, hey, this guy's okay. In their mind, in their subconscious, they're going to say, hey, this guy's okay. He's not some fast-talking salesperson. So that's the importance of match and mirroring. It helps you connect with them on the subconscious level. So you break the ice. We're doing the network collaboration, potentially help them in their business. So you build rapport, and then you get into the heart of the conversation. And here you go. Ready? What would you like to accomplish in our brief conversation today? That is a pattern interrupt. And if you have rapport, this is what will happen. If they're interested in you, they'll say, well, I'm curious how you help companies like me. So the segue is seamless into just going. And then what you do is you just respond. You talk about outcomes. You go to 30,000 foot level. And so I would say, well, John, is there something specific that you're looking for? drill down, get clarity, ask the question. Is there something specific you're looking at so I'm not going to regurgitate or give you a bunch of information that may not pertain to you? Well, Chaz, I've been struggling scheduling meetings. And so I say, okay, what have you tried so far? Well, blah, blah, blah. You don't go real deep in this conversation. Based on what you said, this is what I find works best. Okay? So you have agenda, your agenda, their agenda. Their agenda drives the conversation. Your agenda follows their agenda in the intro call. When you understand what they want and they ask you the question, how can you help? Then you're giving them outcomes based at a high level. You ask additional question to get some information so you can speak directly to their need. Remember, duration of the meeting. You have to make sure that you set the framework so it's not like, hey, we're going to have a 20-minute call. And then 45 minutes later, it's like you're still talking. Anyone been in there? So you need to set the frame for the rest of the call. You need to set the agenda. You're the authority. And then you end with a hook to get them into the next conversation. So I know we're ending right now. This is what I find works best. Based on what you said, what I find works best is to schedule what I call a strategy session. Typically that's an hour. And this is about getting clarity for you, for me, where you are now, where you're looking to go, and what are those obstacles you're facing that prevent you from getting there? If I can help, I'll lay out a step-by-step strategy to get you from where you are to where you want to go. If I can't, I'll be upfront and I'll refer you to someone else. By the way, I'm not here to coerce you to try to get you into a meeting, so if you're not interested, no worries whatsoever. I really appreciate our conversation. Let me know if you'd be interested in scheduling it or not, and we can talk about what to do next. Then you end the meeting. Very, very, very important, okay? So the meeting ends. You have to end with a clear next step. Are you finding this helpful? I hate asking, are you getting value from this? Because that gets overused. If you find this is practical and helpful, click subscribe, hit like, share with others. Now back to the program. So I talked about the 2 calls, networking, collaboration. You know, the other call would be if you schedule the call and say, based on, I'm going to give you a sales and marketing analysis. The same principles apply for that type of call. You build rapport, you move into the conversation. The only thing you do differently is you say, I know you want to get a sales and marketing analysis today based on you emailing me. Is there something specifically you'd like to accomplish in the meeting? Same way. The rest of the meeting will go the same way, okay? Now, the meeting ends, clear next step. Very important. This is where a lot of people fail. So I'm talking to Terry and he says, yeah, that sounds good, Chaz. Tell you what, I need to think about it. Can you follow up with me in a week? All right. If you allow him to control the process, remember the mess principle, it's going to end up a mess for you and for them. So Terry, the reason for the strategy session is to get clarity. This is what I do. This is why I do what I do, is to help you see and realize your potential. I'm not exactly sure that I'll be able to help you, but I wouldn't suggest scheduling this if I don't think I could. So you can utilize me to get clarity, or you can continue to think about it. And again, if you don't want to schedule the meeting, don't. By doing that, you take away their thinking about it and you're going negative, you're going for no. If you're not interested in scheduling it, no worries whatsoever. When you go for no, people are more likely to say yes. If you do this with an intro call, you build rapport, you understand that their agenda controls the conversation, and so you're asking them what they would like to talk about in this conversation, what they like to accomplish. Their agenda will drive the conversation, but you're asking the question, so you are controlling the conversation, okay? You're going with their agenda, but you're asking questions, and then you're answering, talking about outcomes, and then you're segueing to what I find works best. And then you schedule the next meeting. You go negative. What I find works best is to schedule blank. Let me know if you're interested, and if you're not interested, no worries whatsoever. Then, before you end the meeting, very important, before you end the meeting, you get the time, date in each other's calendar, it's agreed upon, and a clear next step. They need to have skin in the game. So between the intro call and the strategy session, I have them fill out a form. And I say, bad news. John, you want to know the bad news? Bad news? I have a form for you to fill out. Now, very important here, you frame it in a way that makes sense to them. This will take you less than 5 minutes. This will help guide and direct our conversation, okay? And I have a podcast. I'm going to email this to you right now. So the podcast will take 40 minutes. Please take time to watch the entire thing. This is going to make our conversation more succinct. And so instead of an hour for a conversation, it would be like an hour and a half to 2 hours, because the podcast will give you a sense of how I can practically help you, and it will help us jump into the conversation right away. Does that make sense? Now they show up to the next meeting. It's not like 12:30. Oh man, I got to meet with Jamie right now. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, he's like trying to sell me something. No, they show up because they've done the work, and you engage in a conversation, and it becomes open dialogue, looking to understand the problem, and then you can solve it. As two people working together, one being the authority and the other one needing help, open dialogue, you have rapport and trust, and you're looking to solve their problem. You go in with the intention to serve. With the first conversation, it's their agenda. Your agenda will parallel their agenda, and you ask that by asking, what would you like to accomplish? You agree and make sure, I know we only have 20 minutes or 15 minutes now. I want to be respectful of our time. And then you end with a hook to get them into the next conversation. This is what I find works best. Schedule a strategy session to get clarity on where you are, where you're looking to go. Do you want more? I have a live event each and every week on LinkedIn, a live audio event. And I have people come up on this stage, the virtual stage, and ask me any question. I give a training about sales, ChatGPT, and how to identify, attract, and onboard new clients. Check out the link below. It's B2B Clients Now. I hope to see you there. Go rock this day.